Well, I think for me, it's the Chris Holmes scene that gets talked about to this very day. So I think if you went to somebody that's seen the movie, that would be the first thing they talk about. And I find that a tragic scene.
Mm.
I'd like to get your views, John, but I think it killed Wasp. I think it really killed their commercial momentum in the water. Inside the Electric Circus would have been out at that time. I think Blackie would have been absolutely filthy.
He was.
I think that would have just killed any credibility. They were, getting some sort of a following. But I think that was a career killer because it just made – because you associate Chris Holmes with Wasp and, I just think that from a marketing perspective, it damaged them completely. And I don't know you folks remember, I've got the latest version of this movie on Blu-ray. But in the day, I saw a VHS version, and I don't know if it's been changed, but I recall a scene where his mum is at the right or left, one or the other, and he's talking to the mum, and he goes, "Hey, Mum, do I beep like a beast?" In the original version. Now, that has been cut out, and the camera pans to the mum, and she has this look of just pity, disgust. That's exploitation. And that's the thing about this movie. You just can't get, I just can't get my head around that. It's kind of exploitative. I know I've read interviews with Penelope and she said, "Oh, look, we saw the footage of Chris Holmes and we thought we couldn't use it." I've seen an interview with Penelope and Henry Rollins because they're from the punk scene, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And Henry's fawning over Penelope and he goes, "Oh, what I like about this documentary is you're not judgmental." Yes, you are. You are judgmental because you're probably casting these people to show them in the worst light.
Absolutely.
And to put people in the worst light, it's like clickbait on YouTube. You want to get views and you've got to hang your hat on a scene, on an angle. And this was like motherlode gold that they had this Chris Holmes scene because it gets spoken about. You still have folk going over to France, they interview Chris, and it always comes back to this interview in the pool. He will never live that down. And you can't deny it's exploitative. And it probably killed Wasp's career. They were never at that peak with that first album, which went platinum on Capitol Records. I reckon it killed them. It made them a laughing stock by association of Chris Holmes. And Chris Holmes is a good guitar player, but he looked like an absolute numbskull. But I think for me, the Chris Holmes scene is the one. I find it tragic. I find it sad. And it hangs a heavy shadow. I think after you see the movie, you're still thinking about it.
What does that say for the rest of the movie? Because I think 4 of us have already talked about that scene. And there's like so much more to the movie, but yet that's the one that all of us have come back to, or a lot of us have come back to pretty quick.
John, it's the most shocking scene.
Yeah.
Because you've got somebody that's probably crying for help, emotional, alcoholic.
There you go. You nailed it. That's what it is right there.
Crying for help and being exploited. You can't get past that